This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where, yes, business owners share their wisdom. It's short to the point because we respect people's time and because we know transforming possibility happens super fast and it leads to lasting results, right? So let's get to it. Enough of that. Question number one. In a few sentences, Carl, tell me who you are and what you do.
All right. My name is Carl Gould. I'm with 7 Stage Advisors. We're a growth advisory firm. I've been a long-time business coach, and I started my career in construction and I've been a serial entrepreneur with businesses that I've grown over the years. And now I get the opportunity to speak all over the world and coach people on how to hyper grow their businesses.
Love it. Hyper grow. Very specific there. Dig it. Totally dig it. I love that you have a construction background too, because that tells me a little bit about you. I also come from a construction background, so I get it. Lots of shift made there, I would guess. Could you share a little bit more?
Lots of shifts in my business, you mean?
Yeah, coming from a construction background to doing what you do, I imagine you went through a big transformation. Yes?
Yeah, I mean, I got to tell you, of all the businesses that I've been part of, construction is the most difficult. It's the most complex, it's the most complicated. So it's a great training ground for coaching later, because in construction, what you learn is not only does everything you do affect another part of the business, but the quicker, the longer the problem lasts, the worse exponentially it gets. So if you're building a home and the foundation is 1/4 of an inch off, then when you get to the first floor, it's 1/2 an inch off. When you get to the second floor, it's 1 inch off. By the time you get to the roof, it's 2 inches off. And you're like, how could we possibly be 2 inches off? I said, yeah, but we were 1/4 inch off in the foundation. That's why. And we never corrected it. And so it widens it. And so it's a great lesson. And I've always learned that the quicker we can solve a problem, the quicker we can keep it small. So I was in my construction companies at the time. And, but at the same time, I started coaching for Tony Robbins, Ken Blanchard, Franklin Covey, Dale Carnegie leadership, situational leadership, the Adizes methodology. So I was doing all this coaching all through the 90s and 2000s while I was in my construction company. So, I took my coaching training along with my entrepreneurial skills. And that's when I started working with the business owners.
I love it. Thank you. There's some real deep value in there for anybody listening and watching. Talking about the margins and the tolerances, like if you don't start from the ground up in the correct way, you will
right away. It becomes a big issue.
Go ahead. Take it away.
Well, no. So I'm just saying it becomes a big issue. And so one of the things that I learned very early in my career was I learned that by leveraging people's customers' complaints about the industry was the quickest way to make a real impact with them. So for example, I was in construction and contracting, and it doesn't have the best reputation anywhere in the world, even in any market. So I would show up to give somebody a proposal or a quotation for a job. And I was hearing complaints about the entire industry, about every other contractor they talked to, all these problems. So I said, well, wait a minute. Okay, I'm getting the same thing. I'm getting the same complaints over and over again, constantly. What is this all about? What does this mean? And how can I handle that? And so what I did was I learned that by addressing people's complaints, rather than just continuing to say, oh, I'm great, you should work with me. That was one of the quickest ways to really make a big impact and have the best chance of closing that sale.
Brilliant. Problems equal opportunity. I love it.
Yeah, for sure.
Question number 2. What's the best thing about being in business? You've got a lot to pull from, so dive in, my friend.
Yeah, the best thing about being in business is, one, I live my life by my design, not by default. I don't live on someone else's plan. I live on my plan. And if the day I go away forever, if I didn't get what I wanted out of my life, I take full credit for everything. I either made it happen or I didn't make it happen. But I was living on my terms the whole time. And, I got to choose who I worked with, how I worked with them, at what price I worked with them. And I either made it happen or I didn't. And I get to control the impact that I get to have. I get to control my schedule. So it's not always perfect. And I'm not saying that there aren't things I have to do that I don't like, but I have nobody to thank but myself, whether it worked out or it didn't work out. So for me, that was the best thing about being in business, because as much as I was successful in my landscaping and construction companies, it wasn't really my passion, and it wasn't really the business I was meant to be in. The business I'm in today is the one I'm meant to be in. But, I learned a long time ago that you can make money doing a lot of different things. So for me, it was important that I enjoyed the work that I was doing because of the amount of time I spent doing it. So being in business, I get to choose that. If I got a job, I remember one of my early jobs, I worked at a restaurant. I'm working in the kitchen, and I got done a lot faster than my coworkers. Same amount of work, I got faster. My boss looks over at me and says, "Hey, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean." And so here I am scrubbing the bathrooms. And I'm like, wait a minute. I got done twice as fast as those guys. I get paid the same amount. And now I'm doing double the work because I had the nerve to slow down and take a break because I had earned it. And those guys who were a lot slower than me, they just plodded along all night long. So I'm like, wait a minute, I don't get to choose my schedule here. I'm not getting rewarded anymore, than I was. So business allows me to do that.
Love it. Absolutely love that answer. And I know you're speaking to a lot of entrepreneurs out there who have done the same. So I totally love that. Thank you for sharing. Question number 3. This is one of my favorites. So we hear from other business owners, they're getting so much business right now that the chaos sometimes causes overwhelm. I imagine you've been through that quite a bit through stages of business and different businesses. Can you share your thoughts on that with me?
Yeah, overwhelm. There are going to be times in your life when you are going to be in a state of imbalance. And during imbalance is when we tend to get overwhelmed. So I like to look at it as intentionally going into imbalance. For example, in my business and coaching, Q4 and Q1 are the busiest quarters. Why? Because all business owners are evaluating how well did we do, and let's get set up for the next year. So it's prime time for us. And Q2 and Q3, our clients are, they got their nose down, they're working through the plan, they're going for it, right? And so it's the same thing every single year. It's not a big surprise. It's not like, hey, did you notice we seem to be awfully busy around this time? Yeah, well, it's the same thing every single year, right? And so what's the shocker here? And so we go into intentional imbalance. Since we know it's coming, we say, all right, let's not overload ourselves during Q4 and Q1 with these other strategic things, because that's when we put our nose down for those 6 months. We'll schedule the strategic stuff for the time that we have it, which is in the summertime, for us. And so we go into intentional imbalance during the times when we know we're going to be busy. So if you're taking a lot of work right now, it's not because you're doing nothing. You're doing marketing, or you launched a product, or you have a promotion, or you just launched your podcast, or you have a new marketing campaign. It shouldn't be a surprise. And so when you launch something that you think is going to have, or you're really busy right now because you're putting a new software in, okay, fine. Whatever it is, what you need to do is plan for those times and understand that you are going to be in a state of imbalance during that time. And you, in a sense, plan your overwhelm, or you plan out your imbalance so you don't get all frazzled. If you're getting frazzled because you're getting too much business, then just say no and don't take it on. I don't recommend that. If you're saying to me, oh, I got so much business, I'm turning it away, that's not a sign that you're disciplined. That's a sign that you're a poor manager. Okay? You should be ready, right? So we say to our clients, staff to the valleys, subcontract to the peaks, right? So think about it. Right? You just say, I got so much business, I'm turning it away. Well, that just means you got so much business that you can't handle. That's why you're turning it away. So here's what we would say. We would say, look, what's the best case scenario? If we were to get, at what point would we need subcontractors or extra people or whatever? So you have a plan for that. So if you get a better than expected response, you know how to handle it. So you say, because you say, well, I don't want the quality to go down. Well, that's fine. the quality of your deliverable, but you don't know in the future if these client opportunities are just going to come running back. Remember, you sent them away. So if they say, well, F you told me no before because I wasn't convenient for you. When I wanted to give you my money, you didn't want it. So everyone who you said to go away, they might stay away. So we're not big fans of turning people away. We are much bigger fans of saying, what would happen in a best case scenario if we got a higher than expected response? And have we called around, and do we have resources in the bullpen that we can activate if we need to?
Love it. Planned imbalance. I dig it. It's powerful stuff. Question number 4. And if you were listening to that and you didn't get value out of that, I'd be shocked. And so if you just listen to that and you didn't catch it, I want to encourage you to just scroll back a little bit and listen to that deep value he's dropping. So question number 4, what other successful business owners like yourself, of course, should be on the Unlimited Wisdom podcast?
Well, there's a number. I would have Ron Shovlin from Shovlin Mattress on here, Doug Ron from IND Corp, because they pivoted during the pandemic and have created best in class results for their company during a pandemic. You'd want to hear from them. I get Ray Perez on here because he'll teach you how to personally brand yourself, so you make sure that you have plenty of leads. I get Mike Michalowicz on here and talk about his profit first methodologies and fix this next and others. Those guys are all good friends and they'd be good for here because they have an entrepreneurial background as well as subject matter expertise. So those would be a few that I would put on here that would be really good for you guys. Love it.
Absolutely love it. I look forward to that. Some of those are my favorites.
All right, right on.
Question number 5. This is, let's get to it. Let's get to some wisdom. So this is your opportunity to share your wisdom, some things that you've learned with other business owners. What piece of wisdom would you share with other business owners, Carl?
Well, here's what I've learned over the last 32 years of coaching CEOs, is that your business growth is reliant on you addressing the limiting beliefs and your comfort zone that you have in order to get to the next level. So in other words, if you say, oh, I'm not comfortable with debt, I do everything on cash. Okay, that's fine. And that could be a belief that limits you. And you might have to overcome that. You will likely have to overcome that in order to grow. Or I got to do everything myself. No one can do it as good as me. That's great. And that might limit you at some point. You're going to have to overcome that. So as you grow, your business can only grow to your definition of yourself as a leader and to the vision you have for the business. You are going to go through layers of growth. You're only going to take a third of your current employees with you as you grow. And you as a leader have to grow beyond your comfort level and your limiting beliefs in order to get to the next level. That is the one and most common limiting factor that I see in business growth, is that if the business ever outpaces the business owner's definition of themselves or comfort level or limiting belief, they will sabotage the business back down. So this whole thing about, I got overwhelmed, so I just told people I'm not taking the business. Yeah, you know what that sounds a lot like to me? That sounds like to me that business outgrew that owner's definition of themselves or their perceived leadership capability. Or, oh, well, I had to dip into my savings. I'm not doing that. Or, if every sale's not profitable, I don't take it. What? Right? These are growth limiters, and you will have to address those. Every time you're growing your business and you start to feel this discomfort or you get nervous or anxious about something, that's the area you have to take on right away, because that's the limiter to your business growth. Because that's a limit. Look, all COVID did for 99% of the businesses out there is it shined a light on the flaws in your business model and your management style. That's it. Oh, no, wait, Carl, they told us we could only go to 10% capacity. What am I supposed to do? Well, here's what you should have done. You relied on people coming into your location for all of your sales. You never went out and got them. You never learned how to do it, and you rested on your laurels in that area. So you go back to the model, because every model has a flaw, and you say, wait a minute, where's the vulnerability in my model? Let's go back out. COVID put a magnifying glass on it. And then they put a magnifying glass on your management style. All right. Your management style has good parts and it's got some not so good parts. What are the not so good parts and what do you need to work on?
Love it. I love all that. There's nothing I couldn't love about all that. It's great advice. I heard a lot there about the throughput, right? So identifying the gaps, as I said,
Yeah.
I'm really starting to plug those leaks and holes. And there's no way I could agree with you more. And it's really, really important during this time because you were talking about limiters, right? And mindset things that we carry around and these limitations. And I think a lot of people got hit with that over the last year through COVID. And some of them are still blaming others. So I love how you highlighted that and really help owners experience a different outcome there. What would you, I have one question around that. I too hear some similar things. So what I hear often is, well, what if I don't know where my limits are? How do I identify these limiting beliefs or these limiting thoughts or these limiting business beliefs? Do you have any suggestions or any tips you could throw out there other than, get in touch with you, of course.
So the first thing you do, if you say, I don't know what my limits are in my business or my management style, take out a sheet of paper and a pen and write down, I need to stop lying to myself. Okay. We all have a pretty good idea. All right. I don't know how to do surgery on my back, but I know where it hurts. So wherever it hurts, ask for help. All right. Find a peer-to-peer mentoring organization, get a coach, hire a subject matter expert, go talk to a friend, find somebody who you think has overcome whatever, So take your problem, okay, and type into Google the problem and then the word sucks. Like, I got a problem with marketing. So just write, my marketing sucks, right? And start there. My sales suck. My management sucks, right? Because that's where you'll start to get the other people who have dealt with this problem, all right? Because if your marketing sucks, that means two things. Your marketing sucks and you suck. So look at your leadership style and the business model. That's what I mean by that, right? You don't suck totally, just your marketing sucks, right? But you look at those two areas. Look at your leadership in that area. Like, I don't know anything about marketing. Well, that's why it's not so good. Great. And as a result, my marketing's not so good. So look up those two areas. What do I need to do to be a better marketing leader or a better marketing subject matter expert? At least be functional in that area. And then what do I need to do to improve that part of my business? So find out where the pain is, take that pain, type it into Google, put the word sucks right after it. Resources galore.
I love it. Resources galore. It's so simple, but it's also very brilliant. So I really appreciate the advice. That's great. Simple and brilliant, my friend. Question number 6. I know after this conversation now and this podcast, I know that you and I could talk business probably for hours and hours and hours. So I like to shift to something I believe, I hope you do too, that we work to live and not live to work. So what's the most fun vacation you've ever had? I'm really dying to know.
Oh, so one stands out. Our family pretty unanimously agrees that our best vacation was we took a trip to South Africa, and we went to Durban, the KwaZulu-Natal (KZN) area of the country, and within 10 days we went zip lining, we went swimming with sharks. That's a whole other podcast in and of itself. We took the no cage option and swam with sharks. It was awesome. All right. We did zip lining. We had a waterfront condo, and then we did a safari for 4 days. It was unbelievable. Just amazing.
Love it. Love it. And it ties right back into what you were saying throughout the podcast is like, stretch your comfort zones, right? Get out of your comfort zone.
Stretch it.
I dig it. You walk the talk. I absolutely love it. Sounds like a blast. Carl, I appreciate you being on there. I know it's an investment. Every moment of business is an investment in time, and I appreciate the investment of your time being on here. What's the website? When somebody listens to this, they watch this and they say, wow, look at that energy. And this guy brings 30 years of experience or so to business. I really want to connect with him. I got to find this guy. What's the website or place on social media? How can they find you?
So go to carlgould.com. That's the gateway to all the things that I do. If you have an event coming up or you're looking for a speaker, for that event, or you're looking to transform your company, hit me up there, and I'll make sure that we take good care of you, that you have the best event ever.
Love it. Absolutely love that. What a great offer. Go and check them out. This is Brad A. Milford with the Unlimited Business Wisdom Podcast, where business owners, yes, making 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right. Okay. We hear about money, but it's not all about the money. It's all about them sharing their wisdom and creating impact globally. Thanks for joining us.